So you have the Alligations worksheet, which is the order dextrose 55% and 400 ml, and you have the supply 45% and 700 ml and dextrose 85 and 600 ml. So you always want to put the order in the middle, which would be your 55 ml, if you're 55%, and you put your supply on the left side with the highest value at the top, 85%, and then 45 at the bottom. And then you cross subtract. So you do 85 minus 55, which equals 30, and you'll do 45 minus 55, which equals 10. There is no negatives, so you will always do absolutes. It's only positive values. So you have 10 parts when you subtract 45 from 55, and you have 30 parts when you subtract 85 from 55, which gets you a total of 40 parts. From there, you're gonna divide the amount of parts from total parts. So you'll do 10 divided by 40. And what is the exact number of that? Which equals 0.25. And then you're gonna multiply that by the total volume, which is the 400. Which equals 100. And you'll do the same for the 30. So you're gonna do 30 divided by 40, which equals 0.75, and you'll multiply that by the total volume, which is 400, which is going to equal 300. So when you get to this point, your 85% now goes across, and your 45% now goes across. So the 85 is the amount that goes to the 10 parts, and the 45% is the amount that goes to the 30 parts. So you would need 300 ml of the 45, and you would need 100 ml of the 85. I'm gonna do one more for you so you can see. You start off with the tic-tac-toe, and your order goes in the middle, which is 36. Your supply goes on the left side with the highest number at the top, which is 40, and then 10. And then you cross subtract. So 10 minus 36 is 26. We have no negatives. 40 minus 36 is 4. So you have 26 parts, and you have 4 parts to give you a total of 30 parts. Okay, so then you're gonna do 26 divided by 30, and you multiply it by the total volume, which is 1,000, and that equals 866.67. On these ones, you're not going to round. Some of them you will round, some of them you won't. I'll show you how you can know the difference in 1 second. So you're going to do 4 divided by 30, multiply that by the total volume of 1,000, which equals 133.33. So how I always check my answers is if you add the final numbers together, it's always going to equate the total volume, which is 1,000. So 866.67 plus 133.33 equals 1,000. And if you round it and it doesn't come up, then you should try it without rounding it. So again, the 40 belongs to the 26 parts. So 40% equals 866.67. And the 10% goes with the 4 parts, so 133.33, and that's what your answer will look like. So I'm gonna do another one for you guys. So you start off with the tic-tac-toe. Your order goes into the middle. Your supplies on the left-hand side. So 45% in the middle, 50% at the top, 10% at the bottom. Ten minus 45 equals 35. There's no negatives. 50 minus 45 equals 5. You have 35 parts, and you have 5 parts for a total of 40 parts. You would do 35 divided by 40. You multiply it by the total volume, which is 1,500. And that equals 1,312.5. You'll do the same, 5 divided by 40, multiply it by the total volume, which is 1,500, and that equals 187.5. Now, to remember what equation is, what fraction goes to what percentage, 35 goes to the 50, and 5 goes to the 10. So 10 would be 187.5, and the 50% would be 1,312.5. And if you add those together, it would equate 1,500 ml. So let's do one more. We have the order dextrose 15% in 1,000 ml. So this is your order. This is the total volume you need. We have the supply dextrose 10% in 500 ml, and we have dextrose 20% in 500 ml. This one's a little easier. It's a little easier for this one. So what we're gonna do is the tic-tac-toe. We're gonna put the order in the middle, which is 15, because the order is the 15%. We're gonna put the supply on the left side, with the 20 being at the top, the 10 being at the bottom. 10 minus 15 equals 5. 20 minus 15 equals 5. So we'll do 5. Oh, that's total parts is 10, I'm sorry. And then we'll do 5 divided by 10. Multiply that by 1,000. We'll do 5 divided by 10. Multiply that by 1,000, which equals 500. So you would need 500 ml of both parts. Okay. So we have the order dextrose 17% in 750 ml. Our supply is dextrose 10% in 500 ml and dextrose 20% in 500 ml. Okay, so what we're gonna do is the tic-tac-toe. Your order goes into the middle. Your supply goes on the side. So we have 20% and 10%. We have 17% in the middle. So that's the desired concentration we want. My pencil's not working. Hold on. I'll just use a pen. Okay. So what we're gonna do is 10 minus 17, which equals 7. 20 minus 17, which equals 3, for a total of 10 parts. You're gonna do 7 parts divided by the total parts, which is 10, multiply that by the total volume, which is 750, and that'll give you 525. Then you'll do the same here. 3 parts divided by the total parts, multiplied by the total volume, which will give you 225. And then again, the 20% belongs to the 7 parts. So 7, you'll use a 7 divided by 10 for that one. So the 20 would be 525 ml. And the 10% belongs to the 3 parts. So that would be 225. And if you add them together, they equal 750 ml. Let's do another one. Okay. So right here we have dextrose 11% in 1,000 ml. So this is the total volume that you need. We have dextrose 5% in 500 ml and dextrose 30% in 400 ml. So you're gonna do the tic-tac-toe. You're gonna do the highest supply right here, which is 30%. The lowest supply at the bottom, which is 5. The order goes into the middle, which is 11%. You're gonna do 30 minus 11 for 19 parts. You're gonna do 5 minus 11 for 6 parts, which gives you 25 total parts. Now you divide your 6 parts by your total parts, which is 25. You divide 19 parts by your total parts, which is 25. You multiply it by your total volume, which gives you 240. Multiply your 19 divided by 25 by your total volume, which gives you 760. The 30% belongs to the 6 parts, so your answer would be 240 for the 30. This is supposed to say 30. So if you caught that, that's supposed to say 30. Okay, so your 6 parts belongs to the 30%. So it'll be 240. And your 5% belongs to the 19 parts. So that would be 760. Okay, and that's how that should look. We're gonna do the last page. Start off with your tic-tac-toe. Supply on the left side. Your order in the middle. So we have 22%, 9%, and we're trying to get 19% in 750 ml, which is your total volume. You cross subtract. 9 minus 19 equals 10. 22 minus 19 equals 3, which gives you a total parts of 13. You would divide 10 parts by 13 and 3 parts by 13. Multiply it by the total volume, which is 750, which equals 576.92. And 173.08. If you add them together, it equals 750 ml. The 22% belongs to the 10 parts. So that would be 576.92. And the 9% belongs to the 3 parts. So that would be 173.08. Okay, so for the last one, we're gonna start off with tic-tac-toe. Order in the middle. Supply on the left-hand side. So we have 14 Then we're gonna put the 26 here because that's what we have on hand. That's the highest one. And then remember, you cross subtract. So 12 minus 14 equals 2. Then you cross subtract 26 minus 14 equals 12. You have 2 parts. You have 12 parts for a total of 14 parts. Okay, so you divide 2 parts by 14 total parts. You're gonna do 12 parts divided by 14 total parts. Multiply it by the total volume, which is 1,000. Multiply it by the total volume, which is 1,000, which gives you 142.86 and 857. 142.86 and 157.14. If you add those together, they equal 1,000. And then the 26 belongs to the 2 parts, and the 12 belongs to the 12% belongs to the 12 parts. Sorry, I got confused. Which will give you 857.14, and which will give you 142.86.